Hey everyone, it's Amy. I'm in my studio and I am getting ready for my trip to Australia. And I thought it would be fun to flip through some old albums to kind of decide how I want to set up documenting this next trip. This was for my first time in Australia back in 2001. And here's a book from my last trip there with Spotlight in 2013 when I was pregnant. I hope you enjoy flipping through and seeing the process and seeing how my albums have evolved. All right, so let's dive right in. This was a blank journal that I had started for something else, and I just went ahead and taped this, and I decided to make this the cover page. So it was the beginning of January 2001, right when I graduated college. And keep in mind, this is before, not before cell phones, but before smartphones. I think the BlackBerry had just come out or something. And I wrote down all of my important information just in case of an emergency. My flight information, where I was staying. And you can see that this is more of a journal slash, I guess, visual. Yeah, I would just call it a journal maybe. And I decided to stick some interesting little bits in here. I also was reading Shop Girl at the time, and I would write down different quotes that I found very interesting. Boarding passes, as usual, little cutouts. And the funny thing is, I drew my little scissors here, and I said, I would have been pretty upset if they took my scissors. I'm certainly glad they didn't. Well, that just lets you know that I used to always carry around these little tiny scissors so that I could do, the little clippings and stuff. I learned what the word chuffed meant, which is pleased and delighted. When I got home, I actually printed some mini pictures and put them in. And I was pretty good about it near the beginning of this, but then you can see that I slacked off. What I find interesting flipping through here is I went to the extent and trouble of peeling off this beer bottle label and adhering it right in. And I think I did the same thing with this vodka label. I just peeled it off and stuck it in. So here it says, pick from HQ. I don't know where that picture is, and obviously it's not there. But I am grateful that I have this book very completed with journaling. If I ever want to go back and read it, at least it's here. I wasn't too concerned about the layout or anything like that. I was just making notes and putting them in one place, which I think is so important about mini albums in general. A visit to the capital, and then down to Melbourne. This is actually from a bar. And I think this is a snack that only exists in Australia, so I thought that was fun and delicious and stuck it right in there. As you can see, there's a lot of bank accounts. There's a lot of business cards, and then I even made a note of going to the bank and the exchange rate, which is something that I think is interesting to look back on and compare. We went to the Australian Open. I've got photos and the ticket, more pictures, and then this was one of my favorite places I've ever been to in my life, Phillip Island, where all these penguins come out from the ocean, and they're just the cutest things ever. And here is the zoo stuff, and I was supposed to put pictures there. Obviously, I did not. We went down to the Great Ocean Road. Okay, so this is kind of random, but I peeled that label off. I thought it was very, I guess, funny or ironic. And for those of you who are wondering, that vodka berry cocktail did not taste good. The Great Ocean Road. And I think that I was maybe supposed to put something here. I'm not really sure why these two pages were skipped. Once again, some more memorabilia. And I think it's really important to realize that these kinds of receipts fade over time, so I don't really plan on including them in my next book. But I guess I didn't know that when I was making this. Some more stuff here. Calling cards, because that's the only way you could call home back then. A little note that was taped in. Another sticker. Some blank pages. A magazine cutout, and postcards that I never sent. Oh, here, look. Here are some photos maybe I can go back and glue. and a bookmark from Phillip Island. Okay, that was fun to look at. Now let's take a look at this one. This is after I started scrapbooking, so it looks a little bit different, on the outside at least. This is a moleskina. I think that's how you pronounce it properly. And I like it because it's craft and you can simply stamp with black ink on the cover, and it becomes kind of a nice keepsake journal that still fits in your bag. And hopefully I'll do a better job this time of documenting. I was actually 22 weeks pregnant on this trip. And I remember, oh look, I said I had my first experience with pajamas. She gave me a medium because of the bump. And it was really fun changing into my pajamas and going to sleep on the red-eye flight. And then I guess when I landed, I was starving, apparently, and I was craving all these random snacks. So the first night I always arrive there, I seem very tired. So I basically fall asleep at dinner, and then I had to start working the next morning. So here is a little note from Lucy where she drew some meerkats and she wrote me a little note. I really enjoyed this aspect of it, so I think that I'm going to have more people sign my book. This was my itinerary from the morning, and I drew my little breakfast. Here is a spread with a bunch of business cards from a really cool pop-up kind of container mall that had amazing stores from different artists, and it was my first time that night having Burmese food, and it was delicious. All right, so more magazine cutouts. You can kind of see a pattern here. I haven't really changed all that much in 12 years. Here's a little quote. In light of my past experience, my present circumstances, and my future hopes and dreams, what's the wise thing to do? I'm not even sure where I saw that, but I really enjoyed it. All right, here come more store visits. This was really fun seeing these ladies and my first signature bag. I love that we have a photo captured, and I think somebody actually brought the printer so that I could have a copy right there, and we glued it right in. That's my favorite thing to do. I think that I always take a tape runner, always take a pair of scissors and washi tape and a pen, and just with those supplies alone, I feel like you can do a lot more than I did at least. We had a $29 lunch for two at KFC, which I thought was absurd. And yeah, so like I said, notes from people, photos from people. She brought her cute little Instax camera and let me have a copy of the photo. This was a wonderful experience where I got to feed kangaroos, and I think I even cuddled a koala. Coasters. So yeah, as you can see, I did not finish it. Better Homes and Gardens, celebrities, Tara, she's so sweet. Or Tara, I should say. And some more photos that I never stuck in. A really good restaurant called Trocadero. And this little notebook has a pocket that comes with it, and it's overstuffed and broken. But I'm really hoping to finish this album, at least for the most part, this next one, and come home, add some finishing touches, and show you that hopefully my result is better than this journal or the one that I took even in 2001. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that.